Um, I think that like my approach, I'll say this, my approach at home is 100% different than my approach on the road as far as patience and aggression goes. So, like at home, I know I've got, 4 weeks, 5 weeks here at home, and I've got plenty of places that I can bounce around to. So, I'm going to do my very, very best to not bump a bird ever, and not booger him up or make him any harder than he already is. So I'm going to play like, especially early in the year, I'm going to play things safe. I'm not going to just ram in there on him and, be all gung ho like right off the bat, especially when our woods are wide open. It's extremely hard to move. So I play things a lot safer then. I'll get more aggressive as the year goes on if I need to. But I try to just keep birds fresh as much as possible. Now, if I'm traveling, I'm like, I've got limited time. I've got a lot of my resources already tied up in this money, time. I'm away from my family. I've got an unlimited amount of time on the trip, 3, 4 days, 5 days if I'm lucky. Most of the time it's 2, 3 days. So I'm being ultra aggressive. I'm trying to get to as many of these places that I've pinned on the map that kind of piqued my interest, and check them out and say, this is not worth my time or this is worth my time. And then I'm going to dive in there and hunt it, see if it's worth my time. If there's turkeys in there, I'm going to just lay with them as long as I can, unless something messes me up, somebody or a coyote, or if I mess them up or something, then I might bounce. But if I find some turkeys, I'm probably going to try to stick in there, because it's hard to leave turkeys to find turkeys. Why would I do that? If I'm limited time, I've already it's kind of the first step of the whole deal is finding a turkey to hunt. So when I find one, I kind of try to stick with him and kill him if I can. Now, if there's instances that I'm like, well, he's not in the best spot for me to kill him. He's in a wide open burn. He doesn't move his feet. It's very hard to get to him. I may go and try to find another turkey. And I usually do try to find a few that I can, kind of plan B, plan C kind of stuff, because I don't ever want to be pigeonholed in a spot, and I never want to be beat to a spot and then not have a backup plan. So I always have, plan A through Z kind of deal. But to answer the patience thing, I mean, patience does kill a lot of turkeys. I try to be as patient as possible. But I do think that there's kind of a fine line with that. I think you can be definitely too patient. I think if you sit there and a turkey's burning it up, for example, if a turkey's here is burning it up across the holler, and I'm sitting on one side of the holler and he's clear across the holler just burning it down, I'm only going to be able to sit there and listen to him for so long, and I'm going to have to go. Like, I'll sit there and listen to him for a few times, and I'll try to take his temperature and gauge his interest and maybe try to get him to cross that holler, because I've had him do it before. It's not often, but you can get them to do it. You can get them to fly if they're hot enough. They'll fly a river, a lake, whatever. It's just not a high percentage thing. But I'm not going to be extra patient where I'm going to sit there for an hour and listen to him. I'm going to sit there for a little while maybe and take his temperature, and then I'm going to cross. Now, that's burned me before where I've crossed, and then of course he's been right over there where I was.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time I'm going to try to get to him if I feel like I can without boogering him up. Or if you're going to go across a wide open creek bottom and he's going to see you doing it, or like for our first week here when there's no leaves on at all, I mean, there's no way you can do that. Unless you just made a big loop. But on a trip, I'm going to be pretty aggressive on a turkey, and try to make it happen. Like I said, in my allotted time, because I've got all these resources and my time's tied up and I'm away from my family. So I'm going to try to make it happen basically at all costs, as ethically as,
Mm-hmm.
obviously ethically. So, but that's kind of where I sit on the patience line. Like, I'm definitely pro patience. Like, patience kills a lot of turkeys, but there is a
Sure.
fine line where you have got to be aggressive in certain scenarios.